Hey everyone, welcome back to another review. Today we'll be taking a look at a set of figures from Kaiyodo. These 5 figures right here are part of their miniature queue, capsule queue, mini queue, museum line, wherever you want to call it. It goes by a bunch of different names, but these are a set of 5 miniature prehistoric animal figures. And if you've been a long-time subscriber to the channel, you may remember that I did an unboxing video of these figures way back in July. I ended up getting a whole case of these figures off of Amazon for a really good price. It came with 8 blind boxes, and I just unboxed them and assembled these figures, so I'll leave a link right up here if you guys want to check out that unboxing video. Each of these figures came in a blind box, and I happen to have one right here, and it shows you a picture of all 5 dinosaurs on the front of the box. It's really not fitting into frame well right here, but you got the Carnotaurus, Borealopelta, Iguanodon, Tarbosaurus, and Quetzalcoatlus, and that is pretty much it for the box. You have different artwork on the other side right here. So a case will get you 8 of these boxes, and you will get a set of figures if you buy a case of these. I think this set came out in either early 2019 or 2018. I did not get a lot of information on these figures when I order them. Like I said, I buy Kaiyodo figures every once in a while. Usually I just buy singles off of eBay, but I saw this case for a really good price on Amazon, and I just ordered it. So I really couldn't tell you exactly what year they came out. I tried researching it, and I really could not find too much information, but my best guess is 2018, very early 2019, this set came out. And judging by these 7 on the blind box, I'm assuming this is Series 7 of this Capsule Q line. Only 2 of these figures are brand new sculpts. The Quetzalcoatlus, Tarbosaurus, and Iguanodon are just repaints of figures that have been available in earlier series. The Borealopelta and Carnotaurus are brand new sculpts and are unique to this series. So let's take a look at each one of these figures individually. I will be moving these off to the side right here, and we'll be starting with the tallest figure in the set, the Quetzalcoatlus. Now, as you can tell, these figures are miniatures. Kaiyodo always does a really good job sculpting these mini dinosaur figures, and this Quetzalcoatlus is definitely one of the larger figures in this set. It is only about 1.5 inches wide from wingtip to wingtip. There goes my Iguanodon, just fell off the studio for now. And this figure is just about 2.25 inches tall. This is the tallest figure in this series right now. And you can see for such a small figure, it is beautifully sculpted and beautifully painted. You have some nice pink highlights on the crest right here. The tip of the beak is done in a bright orange color. Here's some black markings around the eye. The eye is done in white with a black pupil. And inside the mouth, you can see the tongue is sculpted. But for whatever reason, they decided to paint the mouth gray. It kind of looks weird. I kind of wish the inside of the mouth was painted a bright pink color, but maybe they didn't want to do it so it didn't contrast with this bright pink on the crest right here. As you can see, the figure is removable from the base. It actually pops off very easily if you're just, messing around with it like I am. But once you secure it and just display it, you won't have to worry about this figure popping off the base. And you can see right here along the side of the neck, you got some nice pycno fibers sculpted in here, which is a really nice detail for such a tiny figure. It is painted in white with some gray highlighting along the back right here. Even the back is sculpted with some of those pycno fibers. There's some black highlighting right there with some white trim. And then going down to the wings, you can see the wings are beautifully sculpted, nice and folded up. I love pterosaur figures sculpted in that quadrupedal stance. I do not like them sculpted in flight. They're just a pain to display. Usually, if you watch any of my reviews, when I review pterosaur figures, that's something I just always complain about with these figures. You can see the hand claws are beautifully sculpted. Even underneath, you get some nice pectoral muscle definition, more of those pycno fibers sculpted in right here. You got some brown paint near the end of the tail right here. You can see the hind legs are beautifully sculpted. I always love these Kaiyodo figures. They just pack in so much detail in such a tiny little package right here. And this is just a really nice looking Quetzalcoatlus figure. And let me just get that base right here so you can check out the base. You can see it's just a rocky base, and you can see all the openings for the hind feet to clip in, and right here along the side where the front limbs would clip in. So all in all, this is a really nice Quetzalcoatlus figure. Best part about these Kaiyodo figures is if you do not have a lot of room to display them, These figures are great for their size. They do not take up a lot of room at all. And for comparison, here is the Papo Quetzalcoatlus, which is another fine looking Quetzalcoatlus figure. You can see it just absolutely dwarfs the Kaiyodo figure. Next up is the Iguanodon, and I have to say I really like the vibrant paint scheme on this figure. Got some nice bright green with black stripes with a bright orange stripe going down from the back of the head right down to the tip of the tail. I absolutely love the color scheme on this figure. So let's pull up the tape measure here real quick and do a couple quick measurements. This figure is about 3¼ inches long from the tip of the tail to the tip of the beak, and just over an inch tall to the top of the head right here. And this is a beautifully sculpted Iguanodon. Let me just zoom in right here. You can see the head is done really well. Even got a little bit of paint right here where the beak would be. The eye is perfectly painted. Let me just stop moving my hands. I have very shaky hands. So when I do these smaller figures, it makes it kind of tough to film. You can see the eyes done in a gold color with a black pupil. A lot of beautiful folds and wrinkles sculpted all the way down from the neck all the way down to the body. A lot of nice muscle definition on the hind legs and front legs right here. And you've got one of the front limbs lifted up as it's taking its next step. You can see the famous Iguanodon thumb claw is painted in gray paint, and just so much detail on this little Iguanodon. This is definitely probably one of my favorite Iguanodon figures on the market right now. I just wish there was a bigger version of this Iguanodon. I just think it's absolutely fantastic. You can see a lot of nice, very faint light scale detail along the body right here. You know, you got that row of spikes down his neck highlighted in that bright orange paint. Absolutely love that detail. And then underneath the figure, you have a light orange coat to shade the stomach area. Even the bottom of the feet are beautifully sculpted. A lot of nice detail on the hind feet. All in all, this is a really nice looking Iguanodon figure. You know, most of these figures, when you pull them out of the blind box, are just like two pieces to assemble. Like the Iguanodon, for instance, it just comes with its head off. You just slide the peg right here, and that's really the only assembly you need to do on these Capsule Q Kaiyodo figures. If you have the Dino Tails Kaiyodo figures, those used to come in like 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, and some of those are kind of a pain to put together, but these are very easy to put together. So let's just do one quick comparison. Here it is with this is my favorite Iguanodon figure right here, the Collect A Iguanodon. And this Kaiyodo one is a close second. You can see these two figures look really nice together. I like to display the Kaiyodo one with the Collect A one. It looks like a juvenile Iguanodon, using its mother as protection right here. So definitely these two figures look really nice together. The juveniles have, usually juvenile animals have a brighter coloration than the adults. So I really like using this Iguanodon as a juvenile. Next up is the first new sculpt in this series. It's the Borealopelta. And for those of you that don't know what Borealopelta is, this dinosaur made headlines in 2017 when it was unveiled to the public. This is one of the best preserved dinosaur specimens right now in the world, and it is a beautiful specimen. Seriously, Google Borealopelta, you'll find a lot of great articles about this specimen. It's truly amazing. And one of the coolest parts about this specimen is that paleontologists were able to determine what color Borealopelta was, which is incredibly rare. We know very little of what color dinosaur was. It's one of the biggest debates of, in paleontology, what color were dinosaurs. And it was discovered that this animal was a reddish brown color. Now, unfortunately, this Kaiyodo Borealopelta is not painted in a reddish brown. It's just painted in a light brown with some dark brown highlights. I kind of wish there was a little bit of red in there just to reflect that discovery. But other than that, it is a beautiful sculpt. You can see all that armor, all those osteoderms and scutes are beautifully sculpted on this figure. And that shoulder spike right there, it's just sculpted as different, like translucent plastic material, and it really makes it look like it's covered in a keratin sheath. It's such a beautiful touch on such a small figure. I'd love to see larger figures incorporate this technique of using like a translucent plastic for these spikes on these armored dinosaurs. So I think it's a beautiful touch. It just goes from dark brown to light brown. Just looks really nice. And then going down to the head right here, you can see the head is beautifully sculpted. You got the nostrils right here. The eye is painted white with a black pupil, and the beak is painted in a gray coloration. And then to turn it over, you can see some beautiful scalation underneath the animal right here. A lot of nice stomach scale sculpted in. Even the size of the body. A lot of beautiful, beautiful sculpted detail on it. This is a really nice textured model. Running your finger over, you can feel all the beautifully sculpted scutes and osteoderms on this figure. And then going down to the tail, it does have some dark brown striping all the way down to the tip of the tail. You can see a lot of nice spikes sculpted all the way down to the tip. Has a very long tail. All the feet are sculpted in really, really well. So this is a really nice figure. This is actually the second Borealopelta figure on the market. The other one is the Collecte Borealopelta, which actually does have that reddish coloration. I absolutely love this Collecte one right here. And this Kaiyodo one is perfect to display with this the Collecte Borealopelta. You can use this one right here as a juvenile and this one as the adult. I think they look really, really great together. And maybe, you could consider the Kaiyodo one, since you're considered a juvenile, that maybe that reddish coloration hasn't come in yet. So definitely have a couple display options with this beautiful Kaiyodo Borealopelta. And next up is the other new sculpt in this series, the Carnotaurus. And this is a really, really well done Carnotaurus. This is a beautiful sculpt of this animal right here. So let's do one quick measurement. This figure is just about 4 inches long from the tip of the tail to the tip of the snout, and just under 2 inches tall to the top of that spike on top of the head, which Carnotaurus is famous for. So yeah, this is a really nice Carnotaurus. This is not the first miniature Kaiyodo Carnotaurus. They've actually done, I think, 1 or 2 more before this one, but this is a brand new sculpt, and you can see it is balancing beautifully on one foot, like it's charging forward. And the way this figure does that is there is a little peg hole right here on the bottom of the foot, and it fits into this footprint on the display stand right here. The display stand is just a mixture of green and brown paint. This looks like the animal is running on mud, and you just peg in the foot right here with just a little bit of pressure, and the figure will balance perfectly. All right, so I'm gonna pop this off the base. It'll be much easier to maneuver while we do some close-ups. As you can see, the head is beautifully sculpted. The horns are actually really, really sharp. You just, tap your finger on. You can definitely feel the point of those horns. The eye is painted in beautifully. It's done in green with a black pupil. I have to say, Kaiyodo always does a great job of painting the eyes on their figures. The figures are so small, and all my Kaiyodo figures, the eyes are painted perfectly. I just wish some of the larger companies that make bigger figures could do that. I've gotten so many figures from those bigger companies where the eyes are messed up, and it's like pretty much inexcusable. So moving down to the rest of the figure, you can see a lot of nice scalation, scale detail along the body right here, along the hind limbs. All those osteoderms are highlighted in black paint. The main coloration is a brown color. You do have some like a reddish orange around the lower jaw right here, going down the neck. Now the front limbs, Carnotaurus had very small, useless vestigial limbs, and they look a little bit big on this figure, but I think if they were any smaller, there would be a great danger of these arms actually snapping off this figure. So I'm okay that they look just a tiny bit oversized. The teeth are painted in really well right here, and the tongue is actually done in a, let me get the light in here without knocking it over. Hold on. Man, my phone is being finicky today. You can see the tongue is painted in a dark blue color, which kind of reminds me of the Reborn Carnotaurus. I wonder who, copied who here. Going down the back right here, you can see some nice dark blotches along the back that go all the way down to the tip of the tail. So this is a really, really nice looking Carnotaurus figure. It looks great from both angles. And let me just move this lighting back and attach this guy quickly to his base, and I'm going to pull out another figure for comparison. Here it is with the excellent Collecte Carnotaurus figure. You can see this Carnotaurus figure absolutely dwarfs this one right here. This Kaiyodo one is a beautiful Carnotaurus. It's very well sculpted, but I absolutely love this Collecte one. Anytime I bring up this Collecte Carnotaurus, I'm always gushing about how great a figure it is. And finally, we are on the Tarbosaurus, which is my favorite figure in this series. I know this figure is a repaint, but I just absolutely love how this Tarbosaurus looks. Its base is a fallen Saurolophus, which is a type of Hadrosaurus. Saurolophus is one of my favorite Hadrosaurs, and there's like barely any figures of Saurolophus. And figures when I finally get one, it's dead and getting eaten by a Tarbosaurus. But I'm okay with that because this figure just looks absolutely fantastic. So let's just do a couple quick measurements. This figure is just shy of 4 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail. And then at the highest point right here, this figure is just under 2 inches tall at the top of that lifted tail right here. So yeah, this figure is just absolutely amazing. I love how it's just a mini diorama in the palm of your hand. I'm just going to detach this Tarbosaurus off this Saurolophus for a second, then we'll take a look at that base. But this is a great looking Tarbosaurus figure. Another dinosaur species we barely see figures from, but I am happy to say that Beast of the Mesozoic will be doing a Tarbosaurus in their Tyrannosaur line, and I can't wait for that. That line is going to make me go broke so quickly. So anyways, as you can see, this Tarbosaurus is beautifully done. It has binocular vision right here. The eyes are painted in orange with a black pupil. You got black highlights along the top of the nose right here, going over those bony crests, over the eyes, going all the way down the neck, sides of the body, sides of the leg, all the way down to the tip of the tail. This is a very beautifully well-detailed miniature. You know, Kaiyodo, they just packed so much detail in these figures. Even the front limbs are just so tiny looking. You can see the hand claws are even painted in white right here. Just all that beautiful detail. Even the skull's really not that shrink wrapped. You can just make out the orbital fenestra just a little bit, but it's really not that bad. This is a nice bulky looking, you know, Tyrannosaurid right here. The hind legs are sculpted nice and powerful looking. You can see some scale, very faint scale detail on the hind legs and side right here. Going down to the tail, a lot of nice folds and wrinkles. Just push that tail right in. The way this one comes in, the tail is unattached from this one. You just slide it into the peg, and that will keep it in nice and secure. But even the underside, you get that nice, you know, wide barrel chest that the Tyrannosaurids are known for. So all in all, just a great looking Tarbosaurus piece. Absolutely love this thing. Now moving on to its display base, here is the poor Saurolophus, and so much detail on this dead dinosaur. I love dead dinosaur figures. I'm so happy that Collect Day gives us some every once in a while. I wish more companies would do it. They just make great display options. You can see the chunk that's being taken out of the neck right here. The mouth of this Tarbosaurus actually will clamp in over this neck to keep it nice and secure. You can see the Saurolophus is just done mostly in a gray coloration, but you know, just for a dead dinosaur, it is beautifully sculpted. The foot that rests on this of the Tarbosaurus actually clips in right there. So this is just a really nice looking display piece right here. I love Saurolophus. I would love to get a really nice looking alive figure of Saurolophus someday. So you just peg that foot right here into the back of this, and you just slide the mouth over those bite marks, and there you go. The Tarbosaurus is clipped in and ready to be displayed. And like I said, there is not a lot of Tarbosaurus figures, so the best one I have I can compare next to this thing is the Mattel Massive Biters Tarbosaurus. You can see it absolutely dwarfs this Kaiyodo one. I can't wait to see what the Beast of the Mesozoic Tarbosaurus looks like. I'm sure that's going to look absolutely extraordinary. I love Tarbosaurus. I feel like, you know, T-Rex just gets all the limelight and Tarbosaurus just gets ignored. And lastly, here it is with a couple other Kaiyodo minifigures. Here it is with their Protoceratops and their absolutely gorgeous looking Deinonychus. So, final thoughts on these little figures right here. I think they're absolutely great. I've always been a huge fan of the Kaiyodo minifigures. I do not have a lot in my collection because they do get a little bit pricey when you're trying to order these things off of eBay. They usually run anywhere between like, you know, $7-8 up to like almost $25 each or more, depending if it was like a rare convention exclusive. So I would love to add more to my collection, but sometimes it gets a little bit pricey. But yeah, I do absolutely love this Series 7 set right here. I think all the figures are fantastic, even though, you know, 3 of them are repaints, but I still think they're all just really, really well done. And obviously my favorite one right here is the Tarbosaurus. That is my #1 pick from the set, closely followed by the Borealopelta, simply for the fact is that this is the second Borealopelta figure that we've ever gotten so far. I'm sure as time goes on, other companies will follow suit and produce more Borealopeltas. Now, if you are trying to track these figures down, like I said, just go on eBay and try looking them up. The figures from this set specifically, I've seen them averaging between $10 and $15 a piece if you want to try to get the whole set. Maybe if you do a little bit more digging online, you might be able to find a case of these for a reasonable price. I think I paid either $40 or $45 for the case of 8 when I got it off of Amazon, which was a really, really good deal in my eyes. So, that was back in July. It's not on Amazon anymore, so I won't be leaving a link in the description to find it. Just have to jump on eBay and try to track these down. So that will do it for this review. As always, if you're enjoying the content on the channel, hit that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.